Hey, good morning, guys. Today is Sunday, February the 6th. I'm coming to you here from London, Kentucky. It's about 19 degrees out. Hope everybody's doing well this morning. Oh, getting here on the latter half of the weekend. Everybody better enjoy this day. Be back to work tomorrow. Nothing like Monday morning. Um, Welcome back to the channel. Just tickle to death if you're here. Glad to have you. Back on this choosing your weapon, self-defense, choosing your personal protection weapon. Man, it's just about an endless thing. It's just about an endless subject. There's so much to go into when you're looking to start packing. When you've become aware of how insane our society is. And, I don't think people actually live in fear. Outstanding chance you're never going to have a problem. Some areas is probably no doubt worse than others, but I like to see people. I like to see people exercise their Second Amendment right. I like to see people exercise that Second Amendment right. Today we're going to look at another weapon. These are older weapons, been around forever. Got a Beretta here. You people, I'm 51. Anybody around my age has probably seen the movie Lethal Weapon. I think that movie put the Beretta 9mm on the map. That's what Mel Gibson carried. I think his name was Riggs, Detective Riggs, maybe in the movie. But this is what the military used. Excuse me. I think from 1986 or maybe 1987 up until, I think they still issue these. I was understanding that SIG or somebody had got the military contract, but I know some young people that's joined the Marines recently, and they was issued a new Beretta 9mm in 2021. So a little mixed on that. But the Beretta 9mm, absolute top-notch weapon. Just absolutely a top-notch weapon. And as you can see, we practice what we preach here on this old Gator Unleashed channel. You gotta be safe with your firearms, guys. Zero tolerance. That's a big zero tolerance for any kind of neglect, any type of horseplay, any type of assumptions. The only assumption you ever make with these firearms is that they're loaded. You just check, triple check. Make sure the magazine is dropped. Make sure the chamber is clear before you do anything with your firearm. Other than when you've got it on your side packing, of course. Personally, when I have this firearm on my side packing, I want it ready to fire. I want it ready to grab, pull the trigger, and it start throwing lead. I think that's the best scenario if you was to be, in heaven forbid, find yourself in a situation where you needed to actually throw lead to save your life or save your family's life or maybe somebody else's. That's my opinion. That doesn't mean that's right. That's just kind of what I like. Everybody has to do what suits them. You can't carry what you're uncomfortable with. But I'm going to do a few little things different here. I think this is going to be volume 7 on this little series I've started doing. And I've not had time to come to the channel like I want to. Just so much going on right now. I won't go into that. I'm trying to keep these videos a little bit. 15 minutes is my goal. Oh, this Beretta. These Berettas, they are weapons that are going to work. They're going to, when you pull the trigger, they're going to fire. They're great. One of the better firearms I think that's ever been built. But that's really not what this series I've been doing is about. Because, really, there's so many good firearms. They just so many really good firearms that work. That as simple as when you pull the trigger, they fire. Now, there's some things like, if you limp wrist and things like that can make a difference on some firearms. But that's your fault. And it's your responsibility to go to the range. I recommend twice a month. I just think that's great. If you can do more than that, that's even better. But I recommend twice a month is what I recommend, and you don't have to put a whole big lot of rounds through your firearm on those 2 days. Twice a month to keep you familiar with that firearm, everything on it, and then you can unload your firearm and check, make sure it's clear and safe, make sure you're not going to discharge the firearm, and you can just kind of mess around with your firearm maybe while you're at home relaxing or something. You don't have to be at the range, you don't have to be actually firing it to improve your relationship with your firearm. The more you know about your firearm, the better your chances are if something happens. But what this channel or what this series is about is carrying your weapon. If you pick a weapon for self-defense, and some of this is repetitive, no doubt, from my other videos, but it has to be. It's so important. If you don't have it with you, it's useless. I see guns I like all the time. I love 1911s. There's just so many guns I love. I love the big 44 Magnums. There's just so many. And, if I could only buy one gun and went and bought a 1911, well, man, they're heavy. They're hard to carry. I'll go as simple as I can with it. They're very hard to carry all the time. You can carry one for a few hours and it's not too bad. But you get that on your side and your pants are riding down all the time. And everybody's different. You may love to carry a 1911, and if you do, that's great. I love them. I envy you because it's probably at the range. It's my favorite firearm. 1911 is my favorite firearm at the range. But the range and real world practicality, carrying your firearm is totally different situation. I can take a case and put on my side by side, and take 5 big, heavy, or however many I want to, handguns to the range. And it's comfortable, it's easy, I can handle them. I can load, unload them there at the range easy. I've got a bed with everything laid down on it. It's just easy as pie to handle your firearm at the range. Having it on your side all the time is a completely different thing, though. And that's what's important, because I love 1911s. If the only gun I had was a 1911, I would be unarmed most of the time, because I go to work and I'm out 11 or 12 hours a day always. Always. That's just the way my life is. That's just that's just the hand I was dealt in this world, and I'm not complaining. I'm forcing it. But I can't carry a 1911 all the time. I can't carry this. Can't do it. I can occasionally go out on a weekend Walmart adventure or something other and carry this for 3 hours, 2-3 hours or something, depending on if the wife goes and how shoppy she is. But it becomes a nuisance very quickly. When you carry a big firearm like this, it's there all the time. And that's not necessarily a terrible thing, but it does get uncomfortable. And what happens is you'll get in the mindset of, well, I'm not going to need that today. I don't want to have to tug that thing around all day. I'm just going to leave it laying here at the house. I'm just going to hide it here at the house, and ain't nobody broke in on us ever. I'm just going to leave this. Then that'll be the day you go out and God forbid something happened where you actually needed a weapon. So that's what I want to get across to people here with this little series I'm doing, is when you decide to get a firearm and when you decide to enter into the world of exercising your Second Amendment rights, you're going to build a relationship with your personal protection weapon. And that's what this is all about. It needs to be with you all the time. That's the way I feel. That don't mean that's right. That's certainly logical. But there's so much goes into it, such as your local laws, your state laws, concealed carry laws, things like that. Up to you. I can't do that for you. You have to master all that stuff. You have to know every law inside and out. And that's just the way it is. You want the law on your side. We're not the bad guys. We're not the troublemakers. We don't. We hope that we never ever even have to draw our firearm or nothing. I mean, and I guess if you went far enough to draw your firearm, it would be time to throw lead. So we don't even want to have the thought about drawing a firearm in reality. We just want to be ready if we have to. That's what we want to do. And the more people that carry, and the more our right to carry is exercised, which is, I guess, the same thing, the less chance there is of having trouble. Because if we have an armed society, these people that have chosen pathetic lifestyles, they're going to be much less inclined to get out and start trouble if they are at risk of having the lead thrown at them. That's my opinion also, but that is also logical. Or in my opinion, it's logical, I guess. But anyway, and I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm going to go ahead and stop this mag back in here just because it aggravates me laying there. Now, you look at this. Now, you compare that to this P380. You talk about there's no easier way to kind of get across what I'm saying when you compare these like this right here. Not hard to see. If you're going to be out and if you're going to need a firearm for a situation where you're out in town, out in public, where you're going to have to pack your weapon for long hours each day, something like this is what you need. My opinion again. It's just as simple as the smaller it is, the easier it is to carry, the less it weighs, and the more likely you are to have it with you. Everything in this world is give and take. I don't care what issue you look at. And when you go from this, when you're packing this, you've got more rounds, you've got more accuracy, you've got a firearm that shoots better, handles better in every way. There's no comparison at a range with a large gun like this and a tiny little gun like this. However, the trade-off is, as I mentioned, this is difficult to carry. So, advantages, more rounds, better accuracy, just a better handling firearm all the way around. Disadvantages, big, bulky, hard to carry. So right here, the exact opposite. Less round count. These are like 6+1. About all of these little tiny guns like this are 6+1. This is hard to manipulate. It's kind of hard to chamber around. Not really so much for guys, but women especially. These are very difficult, and it drives me nuts because they so often think that these little guns are made for them. No. Opposite. That is the exact opposite. That is wrong. The only reason they make these little guns is because they're easier to carry. Not necessarily conceal carry. They're just easier to carry. I got this little clip on mine, and it'll clip right on the side of my pants pocket. I'm not big on concealed carrying. I like to open carry because it's more comfortable. Comfort is everything when you start carrying a firearm all the time. I promise you. Even some of you older guys that have done a lot of shooting and stuff, you may not carry a gun a whole lot. If you start carrying a gun all day, every day, your favorite gun at the range will quickly probably get tossed aside and you'll get something small. It's just hard to carry those big firearms. The disadvantages to these, as I said, you've got less round counts, it's hard to handle, and it's not as accurate. It's just not near as accurate. These are very good for close range, and that's almost certainly what kind of problem you're going to have. If heaven forbid you get out and get into something, it's probably going to be close range. If it's long range, you can just hide or something. You don't want to shoot nobody if you don't have to. But I just wanted to do this little size comparison. These videos I do are not about the quality of firearms or the accuracy of firearms. They're about having your firearm with you. Whatever it is, if you've got it with you, that's a good thing. That's better than having a superior firearm that's not with you. Like when I mentioned the TX-22, a lot of people are quick to point out 22 long rifle is not a good round for self-defense. I would agree with that. That would not be my first choice. However, if you have a 22 long rifle pistol that you can carry comfortably, that you can handle, manipulate, and shoot accurately, that might be the gun for you. Nothing at all wrong with carrying that. It will protect your life. It will save your life. I guarantee it will save your life. A lot of advantages to these little 22s. But anyway, then you've got a gun like this, which was my last review I done, Volume 6. This is the Taurus G2C. It's kind of in the middle of these two guns. You know, you put it right here, and there's not near as much difference. So maybe that will work for you. Maybe you can just split the difference. Then you come on out here to this. There's your full size. Right there, you kind of got your full size. Right there, you got your full size gun, mid-size gun, and just total full-blown mini subcompact pistol. That's just some things to consider, guys. Yeah, if I'm taken and magically teleported into a firefight, into a shootout, and I can have whatever pistol I want without having to carry it all day or whatever, 1 million times out of 1 million, I'm going to take this big firearm with more round counts and better accuracy over something like this. Something like these mid-size. These maybe these are called subcompacts. I'm not sure, but these mid-size is what I sort of call them. Firearms. They just split the difference. You know, the tiny gun holds 6 rounds in the magazine. This holds 12. These bigger guns like these Glocks holds anywhere from 15 to 19, and I think some even hold 21 rounds now. You're not going to need 21 rounds. You're never going to get a shootout where you need 21 rounds. Anything's possible, but I mean, I just don't think that's going to happen. If you look at any kind of stats, you don't see stuff like that. Almost always 2 or 3 shots fired is it total. But anyway, I want to touch on something else too. I talked about this over penetration, and that still worries me for so many reasons. Obviously, I don't want to see anybody shot. Obviously, don't want to see anybody accidentally shot, especially. If you was to decide to go with a little small firearm like this, I really think if you live in an area where if you lived in an apartment or a subdivision, like I had touched on some of these other videos, something like this would be great. I had mentioned home defense rounds and hollow points. Some of you newer shooters may not really know what I'm talking about. You know, a bullet like this is a 380. This is 9mm. A 380 is only a short 9mm. They're the same diameter. But this would probably be, and I can't tell you what to do again, but give this some really good consideration, a 380 with some hollow points. If you do that, get a quality 380. I've shot the Ruger LCP a lot, never had a malfunction in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I've shot some others. I've shot a Taurus. I think it was called a TCP 380. It also functioned. I never had any problems with it. But it didn't feel as good. I don't know how exactly to put that into words. But it did work. And it never did fail. So, and I put several rounds through it. But some ammo like this to carry in that thing could possibly save somebody's life, your neighbor's or somebody's. Because these are not going to over-penetrate. These are designed to, whatever they hit, they're designed to open up, versus a full metal jacket round like this. This penetrates like crazy. This is designed to penetrate, to go through walls and things of that nature. This is designed to hit its target and stop. And that's what you want in a personal protection weapon anyway. Just some things to think about. I don't want to beat a dead horse to death. But really, you can't overstress it. It's so important. So important to consider things like that if you live in a populated area. And the way I saw today on the news this morning in Lexington, Kentucky yesterday, a policeman was shot. That's 60 miles north of here. And that's happening every week now. If you've watched anything over the last year or two, you've seen the police be turned into villains by our media, which drives me nuts. Our media is so awful. I can't do anything about that, though. I can take care of me and my own, and I can use my own mind to see what's going on. I don't need the media to tell me, to brainwash me. But they're very effective. It's amazing how they control and influence intelligent people. I see it all the time. It's very sad. Don't be brainwashed and manipulated. Think for yourself. Simplify. Just break it all down to the most simple terms. Nothing's perfect. Nobody's perfect. The media can turn anybody into a monster or into a hero. We've seen that happen. We've seen both examples of that happen over the past 2 years. We've seen a man turned into a monster who I don't think is a monster. And we saw a career, lifelong criminal thug turned into a hero. That's the things we've seen our media do in the last 2 years. Actually, less than 2 years. But don't want to get off on that because I can't do anything about that. That's everybody's got to do their own thing. But that's kind of all I got. Wanted to just touch on. If you ever run across a Beretta, if you're a gun collector or something, or if you're new into guns and run into one of these for a good deal, buy it. Beretta is outstanding. Some is made in Italy and some is made in the USA. People's got varying opinions on which one's the best. I think they're both solid, outstanding machines, pistols. Please give some consideration to over-penetration. You can control that with things just like I just showed you, the home defense round, regardless of what caliber you get. And you can also control it with the caliber. Some calibers will penetrate much more. 380 is a really good round. Really, this is just hard. I try not to recommend things, but if you're just looking for something and you're able to handle it. Now, a lot of women can't handle these. Their hands are not strong enough. Their fingers are not strong enough. But if you're just looking for something to put in your pocket and carry, either concealed or get a little tiny holster or even get the little clip like I've got and just keep with you. These are really hard to beat. Smaller than a cell phone. Smaller than a cell phone. This is smaller than my cell phone I'm doing this video on. Just some things to think about. If you live on a farm and you're out all day on a side-by-side, then that's a totally different situation if you're out in the woods and stuff, if that's where you spend your time. And also, if you can only buy one firearm. If you can buy multiple firearms, then you can have different firearms for different occasions. And that's certainly the ideal situation. But not everybody can do that. Not everybody wants to do that. A lot of people just want to buy one firearm. And that's the people I'm kind of trying to reach out to here with my series, with my little videos of this choosing your personal protection weapon series I'm doing. Oh, but anyway, I guess that's all I've got here on this deal. I'm gonna do a little bit more ammo video here before long. You can still find some ammo. I don't know how much longer. I kind of worry about it. I recommend invest in ammo. Invest in ammo. Whatever, if you only get one gun, whatever caliber you get all you can buy. Make it a weekly thing to go out and try to find ammo for that firearm, because you're going to need it, I believe, down the road. I hope you don't, but I'm afraid. But you need it at least you need it to stay familiar with your gun and practice at the range. That's another thing. You've got range ammo and you've got carry ammo, which I just touched on. That full metal jacket ammo is sort of range ammo. Guys, I hope y'all have a great weekend. The second half of it here. I'll be coming at you again here before long. I hope you guys will like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to grow this channel. I'm going to be shooting. I'm going to have some shooting videos here in the spring. Already working on that. Just going to have a great little range set up. 1,000% safe. It's going to be fun. I'm going to do some good videos. Going to do some penetration videos. I'm going to set up some targets. I'm going to make some targets and do some real world penetration things. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We went over 10 minutes. Sorry about that, guys. Hope y'all got something out of this. Everybody have a great day.